Hello there, how are you doing? I want to believe you're doing great just as I am. So I have a quick message for you, and my message is keep moving. No matter what you're going through right now, no matter what life is throwing at you right now, make sure you are not just sitting in a place. Make sure you are not just sulking in a place. Make sure you are not just grumbling in a spot. Make sure you are moving. And I actually remember a funny story that made me do this broadcast. I remember there was a time we went to church, and me and my girls, I had made some clothes for some people. So the idea was when I get to church, I'll collect the money, I'll be able to fuel our car to come back home, because the fuel in the car at that time wasn't enough to take us to church and back. So we got to church and things didn't work out as I planned. So after service, we were at the parking lot and we were all looking at ourselves. We were like, what next? I mean, before we got to church in the morning, right, the fuel gauge was already showing us reserve. It was already on yellow, so there is no possibility that it will take us back home. And then I started playing some scenarios in my head. I was like, there is a bridge before we get to our house. What if we get on the bridge and the car stops working? How are we going to push the car from the bridge? So those scenarios start popping up in my head. But then I was like, there is nothing we can do. We can't stay here either. We just have to move. So we started the car and we got home. Funny enough, the fuel was enough to take us back home. And everything went well for the week. But why I'm sharing this story is, what if we had just stayed back? What could have happened? As in, we'll just be stuck there, not even knowing that what we had was enough. So you can't afford to just stay idle. You can't afford to stay sulking. You can't afford to stay murmuring, to be blaming or whatever. You just have to keep moving. This also reminds me of a story in the Bible of the 4 lepers when there was famine in the land. They said to themselves, if we go into the city right now, because they were not allowed as lepers, they were not allowed to live in the city among the people. So they were like, if we go into the city, there is famine in the land, we are going to die. If we fall into the hands of the enemies, they are going to kill us. Either ways, we are going to die. Let's just fall into the hands of the enemy and make the death quicker. Fortunately for them, God had other plans, because God had already started working on the deliverance of his people. And when they fell into the hands of their enemy, they realized that the camp was actually empty. They left all the things that they came with for war, their cattle, their clothing, their gold, their silver. The enemy left everything and fled for their lives. So these 4 lepers, let's say they ran into fortune. What if they had stayed in a place and they did not move? They would have died. Right? So make sure you keep moving. Don't just stay static in a place. Make sure you are looking for something that you are doing in that particular point where you are. There is a lot that you can still achieve. Though you are thinking, the tides are against me, the odds are against me, this and that. Even at that point, you can still make meaningful thing out of it. One other thing I would like to share that can be of help on your journey is, while you're trying your hands on so many things, please pray that God guide you. And if peradventure you feel you are not hearing God, if peradventure you feel probably God is speaking but you are too clumsy to hear him, you are too worried to hear him and stuff like that, one prayer that always help me is, I would say, God, if whatever I am doing right now is not in alignment with your plan and purpose for my life, I give you permission to disrupt it. That has been my saving grace for a long time. Because sometimes you are just too overwhelmed with the situation, you are not hearing God. Sometimes you are just too busy trying to figure things out on your way that you are not hearing God. But if you always pray this prayer, it will go a long way to help you. Like, if I'm into a relationship that is not in alignment with your plan and purpose for my life, God, I give you permission to disrupt it. If I'm about to step into a business that will put me in trouble, that is not in alignment with your plan and purpose for my life, I give you permission to disrupt it. Like anything at all that I'm doing at every point in time that does not align with what you have for me, God, I give you permission to disrupt it. Now, that is not an easy prayer. You must be someone who is fully ready to follow God's plan. You must be ready to surrender all your plan and your will to God totally. And I bet you it's the best way to live. So that's it for today. Number 1, keep moving. Don't just stop. Don't just stay idle. Don't just wait and sulk. Keep moving. And while you're moving, ask God, pray to God to guide your steps. And if there is anything that you're doing, probably in your own thinking, you're like, oh, maybe this will work, maybe that will work, let me just get on and do it. You know, sometimes we are just so eager, we want to get this done on our own way. So while you are at it, always pray this prayer: if there is anything I'm doing that does not align with what you have for me, I give you permission. I give you permission to disrupt it. So that's it for today. Till I come your way again. Bye for now.